Hi, welcome to another episode of Beyond Chronic Disease. My name is Wendy Gathercole. I'm your host. How are you this week? Today, I would like to talk about thinking and creating your life. And I believe I've done a podcast about this once before. It's really important, I believe, in suggesting that the way we think creates your reality because it does. And it's just been proven by so many people time and time and time again, and also by me as well. So recently I believe it was the podcast, I had the Golden Gate Bridge as my background, and I've always wanted to go there. And an opportunity came up recently that we ended up going to San Francisco and going across the Golden Gate Bridge. Now, this has been something that I have been wanting to do for a long, long time, but it was always something that I put out there that yes, we'll do it one day. I've even suggested or not suggested, mentioned to many people that have been to San Francisco when they've asked, have you been? I've always said, no, I haven't, but we will one day. So that's my thought on that. The thinking created the opportunity to go to the Golden Gate Bridge or to San Francisco because I had been thinking about it for a very long time, but not all the time. It wasn't consuming my thoughts. And that's what we don't want. We don't want something to consume your thoughts so much that will put you in a state of stress or distress, because that's not a, a way that this thinking and creating your life is meant to go, because we want you to be in a state of joy, not in a state of unjoy. Is that a word? It is now. So please, when you are thinking, please think about only what your desire is, not what your gloom is. And when you're talking, talk about your desires, not your gloom, although sometimes you want to just not talk about them at all, which is best. Um, it's it really does create your reality. And there's many moments in my life that I have just made a passing comment about something. You think about it, you say it, and sometimes it could be a day, sometimes in a week, sometimes years later, that is my life. That's how it's been created. And I've not always been an upbeat person, and sometimes I can get quite, you know, in my own head as well. And it takes a moment to get out of that. I get that, and I know that for myself. But lately I've been thinking in a different way, and my life has transformed, which is what this year was all about, transformation. So I didn't want to be here for long about this thinking and creating, because as I said, I know that I've done a podcast about this before, and we've got so many weeks until the end of the year. And I just wanted to, why did I say that? Because I've got 7 more or 6 more podcasts to do until the end of the year. And my thinking at the start of the year was that I wanted to do a podcast a week and a recipe a week to bring to you all to assist in your transformation, in your own transformation, if that was your will. If not, that's quite okay. So I have managed to bring to you each week a podcast and a recipe that I had the pleasure of doing for all of you. As much as sometimes the technology frustrated the hell out of me, which it did, and I've got people that can that can tell you that it did, got evidence that it did. And I have had to think about my own advice at times and just get up and walk away and take a breath, meditate on it, not think about it, not worry about the outcome, call it a process, not a problem. All of these things that I've been advocating all year to assist you in mainly your well-being. And in this day and age, when our mental health is not good, I want to continue to offer you little snippets of information that, if you choose, could increase your mental well-being. Excuse me. Sorry. Because that is my calling. I know that it is. And I know how thinking has changed my life. And, I've done a non-perfection podcast, I believe. There's no such thing as perfect. And if you believe there is, then we probably need to change that thought process as well. So thinking is the way you think is creating your life, and you can prove it to yourself by changing the way you look at things. Instead of looking things as doom and gloom or a problem, look at it as a process, or what could be the good outcome of this. And if you can't find that, then you have to reframe the way you look at it. Anyways, I'd like to thank you all for being here this year and following along with me for the duration. I am so ecstatic that I have managed to create all that I have this year for you. And I will be back next year in some capacity. I will let you know how, when, and why, and whatever else. And also, I'd like to say, choose wisely at Christmas time, because I am concerned about people's mental health and people's finances, because we're not choosing as wisely, or we're not choosing for us, we're choosing for society, or as somebody else is telling us to, and so forth. So I wish you all a Merry Christmas. I know I'm getting in early, so I won't be talking about Christmas again. It is only 5 weeks away. And I say that not to stress you out. I did have a joke about that last week. I'm sorry. Not to stress you out, just to make you aware that, so it's 5 weeks away. I've got a lot happening in between now and 5 weeks away. And I've got all the family coming for Christmas. Well, when I say all the family, our immediate family coming for Christmas. And I'm only going to be home a week before. Sort of. I'll be away for a week, home for a week. And then there'll be Christmas, basically. Nothing to be stressed about. You see, we can't worry about what isn't. Sorry, muck that up. I just thought of that. So we can't worry about what isn't. So you may be thinking, oh, I've got all of this stuff to do and I've only got this much time to do it. But how do you know that you've only got that much time to do it and all of that stuff to do? What choices can you make to make your Christmas easier? I know families that everybody brings a dish for Christmas so that the host doesn't have to slave over in the kitchen. I was going to say hot stove. A lot of us do cold. Christmas dinners or lunches, whatever we choose. So, you know, some of us, I love making everything myself. You know, that's just what I choose to do. And like last year, some things didn't work out. And I'm like, well, that's it. We're not having that. And I think the family can vouch for me saying that. Well, that's it. I'm done. We're not having that now. I'm not doing that again. Didn't work out. And who cares? So keep your mental health in check over this Christmas period. I suggest, you know, if you're one to not want to buy presents for people, but feel like you have to because that's the way of the world, then I say to you, well, don't do that. Do something that you get pleasure out of giving for your loved ones. And if your loved ones don't value what you give them, even if it's a nice long hug and that's all that they can bring themselves around to giving, then your loved ones need their thinking changed. Okay? That's how I view that. So, in saying that, very Merry Christmas to you all. Have some lovely time with your family or not, if you're not with your family. And many of us have lost loved ones. So, all the best for Christmas and the new year. And I will see you next week. I will not be talking about Christmas again. So, Merry Christmas. And think about how you can think or choose what you can choose to make your Christmas more enjoyable than it's ever been before. So I will see you all next week. Bye for now.